Hi everyone, and welcome to my true crime channel, where I talk about uncovered true crime cases here in Ireland. A total of 823 missing persons reports are still active here in Ireland today, and I'm going to be telling you guys about the case of Trevor Deely, who went missing in the year 2000. This is a well-known case here in Ireland, and his family to this day still put up missing persons posters on lampposts and even in prisons in Dublin and across Ireland. Trevor was 22 years old and was born to parents Michael and Anne Deely. He grew up in the city of Naas, County Kildare, and was the youngest of 4 siblings. After finishing school, Trevor went on to college to study business, but shortly after dropped out and changed to computer studies in Dublin. In May 1999, he began working in the IT department for Bank of Ireland Asset Management on Leeson Street. The following summer, Trevor met a girl from Alaska who was holidaying in Dublin, and once she had returned home, Trevor booked flights to go over to visit her in Alaska at the end of November. Unfortunately, Trevor was somewhat uninvited, however, and she said that she was too busy at that period of time. Trevor still flew over to Alaska, as these were very expensive tickets, but he apparently didn't meet up with the girl in the end. No one's quite sure what Trevor got up to while he was over there, but his sister has commented saying that the trip to Alaska that Trevor took has nothing to do with the case, and that it was just the trip of a lifetime for Trevor and nothing else. So he returned to Ireland on Tuesday the 5th of December, and as it was the holiday season, we're coming up to Christmas, Trevor had his work's Christmas party to look forward to, which was 2 days later on Thursday the 7th of December. But this would ultimately be the first night of Trevor Deely's disappearance. After pre-drinks in the Hilton Hotel and Copperface Jack's, which is a popular Dublin bar, especially for Gardaí, the work party moved to Buck Whaley's nightclub, which was on Lower Leeson Street. After enjoying himself with his friends all night, Trevor left the nightclub at approximately 3:25 a.m. On this particular night, taxi drivers were on strike, and so Trevor had started to make his way home on foot, despite the fact that the weather was actually very bad that night. There was a storm. He stopped by his office, which was only 10 minutes away from the nightclub, and this is where CCTV footage shows that a man dressed in black was waiting outside the gates for approximately half an hour before Trevor arrived. As he approaches the back gate of the bank, Trevor and the gentleman had a brief conversation before Trevor was then let in by security. 2 minutes later, 2 more men arrived at the gate, which were colleagues of Trevor, but the man in black was never identified. While in his office, Trevor made himself a cup of tea and spoke to a work colleague named Carl Pender, who was working the night shift. Trevor also checked his emails and made notes for things to do the following morning. He then grabbed one of the office's corporate golf umbrellas before leaving the building to walk home at 4:02 a.m. The man in black was no longer by the gate when Trevor left. Trevor used his cell phone to leave a quick voicemail for a friend, but this turned out to be the last time anyone ever heard from him. His friend described the message as saying, "Hi Glenn, I've missed you there. Just on my way home. All going good, I'll talk to you tomorrow." His friend deleted the message, not regarding it as significant, and investigators never sought to retrieve it. Trevor began walking to his apartment at the Renoir complex on Serpentine Avenue in Ballsbridge. At 4:14 a.m, CCTV footage shows Trevor walking past what was then the AIB Bank on the corner of Bagot Street Bridge and Haddington Road. One viewer noticed that on this CCTV footage, if you watch on full screen at 0.5 times playback speed, you can see Trevor come into shot at 04:14:21. He is walking quite distinctively and seems a bit unsteady on his feet. There are no visible signs of him being under duress or in fear. Now, if you look closely at the pavement at the top of the screen, just after Trevor moves out of sight, you can see that there are 2 puddles with streetlights reflected in them. From 04:14:43, a shadow blocks the light into the left-hand puddle. Then, after 04:14:50, the shadow seems to move across to the right-hand puddle and out onto Haddington Road. By this point, the man in black is passing the bank branch. It looks to me as if Trevor stopped just beyond the reach of the camera for a number of seconds. First, he is over at the left-hand side of the pavement sidewalk, then seems to come across the other side of Haddington Road, just as the man in black is about to reach him. But that is up for interpretation. It is here on YouTube for anyone who is interested. Just watch from 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Gardaí said that they believe that this is the same man who spoke to Trevor outside his office. So Trevor's absence from work the following morning was not seen as a cause for concern, as it had been a late night at the Christmas party. Also, Trevor had 2 flatmates who lived with him, but because of the holiday season, they were away that weekend and didn't know that he had not returned that night. It was only on the following Monday, when Trevor failed to show up to work, that alarm bells went off. His work got in touch with his family, who also hadn't heard from him over the weekend. Once his sister had come forward to say she had called him multiple times with no answer, they decided to report Trevor as a missing person. Over the following days, Trevor's family and friends put up hundreds of posters, handed out thousands of leaflets, and went from house to house and business to business, inquiring if people had seen him. His family were able to obtain the CCTV footage used in the investigation. Detective Sergeant Michael Fitzgerald, who worked on the case from the beginning, said, "I've never worked on a case where the family were so proactive. Unfortunately, at the beginning, the authorities just put it down to he fell in the river, and so a lot of possible leads were ignored in the beginning, and vital time was lost." The Garda Sub-Aqua team searched the River Dodder and Grand Canal, but did not find anything. They were unable to drain the Grand Canal basin as it would affect the structural integrity of the surrounding buildings. According to Dr. Philip Perry, a senior research fellow in the Radio and Optical Communications Laboratory at Dublin City University, a phone in the year 2000 would have gone dead within seconds of falling into the water. However, Michelle said that she is not 100% sure that it did actually ring, but is confident that it had rang out the first few times. 2 Gardaí travelled to Alaska to speak to the girl who Trevor had gone over to see before his disappearance. His sisters also travelled to Alaska separately for the same purpose, but the trips did not produce any leads. There was a special documentary that aired on TV3 here in Ireland by Donal McIntyre, and that aired in 2015, so if you wanted to have a look at that. In December 2016, a new investigation opened. The following April, enhanced CCTV footage was released, leading to the announcement by Gardaí that they believed that the man dressed in black, seen behind Deely on the Haddington Road footage, was the same man that he spoke to outside the office. That same month, a €1,000 reward was offered for information. In August 2017, Gardaí received a tip-off that Trevor had been murdered by a well-known Crumlin criminal. This alleged suspect was part of a gang that ran drugs and prostitution operations around the Baggot Street area. According to the same informant, Trevor had a chance encounter with this man, and it resulted in the young bank worker being shot dead. So acting on this information, Gardaí began searching a 3-acre woodland site owned by South Dublin County Council. They were digging for 6 weeks, but no human remains were found or potential leads were found, except for a gun and some drugs which were seized by Gardaí. Investigators concluded that they were not related to the case, calling the site a stash area for criminals. The search was called off in September, but new posters have been produced with a reminder that there is still a €100,000 reward from an anonymous donor for anyone who comes forward with critical information. These posters are also being displayed in prisons across Ireland, with the hope that some inmate might have their memory jogged. One other thing that people are a bit confused about is the fact that he didn't take a direct route home, especially the fact that the weather was so bad that night, but perhaps this was just down to the simple fact that he wanted to stop at a 24-hour shop for cigarettes or something. There has never been any inquiry into local shop camera footage released, so we will never know. The continuing investigation is being led by Gardaí at Pearse Street Station. After spending the night socialising in Dublin City without incident, 22-year-old Trevor Deely was last seen on CCTV footage passing the Bank of Ireland ATM on Haddington Road at approximately 4:14 a.m. on the 8th of December 2000, Inspector Katharina Joyce said. Our investigation continues to focus on trying to establish the identity of a man dressed in black or dark clothing pictured in CCTV footage talking to Trevor at the gate of Wilton Terrace at the rear entrance to Trevor's workplace. We believe the same man can later be seen walking a short distance behind Trevor in CCTV footage at the Bank of Ireland ATM on Haddington Road. He has never been identified. We believe the answers we require may be found in the community, says Inspector Katharina Joyce. We are appealing to those who, for whatever reason, have not been in a position to come forward to date to please reconsider contacting us. Anyone with information, no matter how small or insignificant that they may believe it to be, can call the incident room at Pearse Street Garda Station on 01 666 9000 or Crime Stoppers on 1800 250 025 or any Garda station. So that is the most up-to-date information that I could find on the internet about the case of Trevor Deely. Now, there is a lot of information out there about this case, so I of course always encourage you to do your own research on it to get your own opinions and your own thoughts. I just compiled this information together. I find it really interesting to research these cases. That being said, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, then please give the video a like as it helps me out. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We actually hit over the 100 subscriber mark since my last video, which is insane, absolutely incredible to me. So thank you guys all so much for subscribing. It's really lovely. It does mean the world to me. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.